What's the worst thing that's ever happened to you?
Losing my parents. I can't explain that kind of loss, and I can't think of anything.
Trisha Yearwood has always embodied grace, her voice unforgettable, her presence unwavering. But recently, a subtle change has caught the attention of fans and insiders alike. From quiet absences to emotional returns, from soul-stirring performances to lingering questions, something deeper seems to be unfolding beneath the surface. Is it simply the natural evolution of a legendary career? Or is there more that hasn't been said? For someone who's rarely chased headlines, Trisha's latest moments have sparked quiet curiosity. A song that feels like a goodbye, a show that feels like a beginning, glimpses of vulnerability in places once filled with certainty. Her story has always been one of strength. But what happens when that strength is tested in silence? This isn't just a look back at her legacy. It's a closer look at what might be her most personal chapter yet. Something has shifted. The question is, what? Country music's queen in her own right. Trisha Yearwood has long been regarded as one of country music's most powerful and authentic female voices. Much like George Strait's commanding reign in the genre, she rose to national fame in 1991 with her debut single, She's in Love with the Boy, which soared to #1 on the Billboard country charts and instantly made her a household name. Born in Monticello, Georgia, Trisha came from humble Southern roots, and like Strait, her success was built not just on raw talent, but years of determination and a commitment to traditional country sounds. Over the years, she's released more than a dozen albums, won 3 Grammy Awards, and solidified herself as a key figure in shaping 1990s and early 2000s country music. Throughout her career, Trisha has maintained a remarkable balance between staying true to her roots and evolving as an artist. Her vocal delivery has always carried emotional weight, with songs like How Do I Live, Walk Away Joe, and The Song Remembers When, showcasing her ability to connect deeply with listeners. Like George Strait, whose traditional country sound often ran against the grain of industry trends, Trisha never chased pop country trends just to stay relevant. She has built a legacy by staying consistent, genuine, and soulful, which has earned her both critical and fan respect for over 3 decades. Beyond her voice, Trisha has a place that extends into her country music. She is also an acclaimed writer and has become a television cooking show host, winning a Daytime Emmy for Trisha's Southern Kitchen. Trisha's brand has diversified in television and books, yet fully, they remained rooted in music. Resuming the straightforward album of original country material with Every Girl in 2019, celebrating the positive reviews it conjured and reminding her status in the genre after more than 10 years. She re-recorded She's in Love with the Boy for its acoustic version in 2021 in memory of the song's 30-year anniversary, reminders of her longevity and timeless appeal. Behind the spotlight, Trisha's story carries more about a strength story like George Strait. She has gone through a lot in her personal life, including less than ideal relationships with her parents and losing her vocal health, but continues to entertain, record, and inspire people. Garth Brooks, another of country music's legends, is an anchor when it comes to her marriage, and one more example of the most adored couples in country music. Whether it's headlining the stage or in silence mentoring younger artists, Trisha Yearwood stands as a voice, the cornerstone of country music royalty. But behind every great solo journey is often an equally powerful duet, and for Trisha, that harmony came in the form of an unexpected, enduring partnership. A musical match, Trisha Yearwood and Garth Brooks are widely celebrated as country music's ultimate power couple, blending personal devotion with artistic synergy. Their story began as friends and collaborators in the early 1990s, long before romance entered the picture. Both rising stars at the time, they shared a musical chemistry that was undeniable, often performing together and supporting each other's careers. Though they were each married to other people during those early years, fate would bring them back together. Following their respective divorces, Garth proposed to Trisha in 2005 in front of thousands of fans at Buck Owens' Crystal Palace in Bakersfield, California. A moment as iconic and heartfelt as a country ballad itself. Since tying the knot in December 2005, the couple has continued to make headlines, not for scandal, but for their unwavering support of each other, both on and off stage. Garth famously stepped away from the spotlight for over a decade to raise his daughters from a previous marriage. And when he returned to touring in 2014, Trisha joined him as the opening act and co-headliner. Their joint performances have become a highlight for fans, featuring duets like In Another's Eyes, which won a Grammy in 1998, and showcasing the couple's effortless harmony both vocally and emotionally. Their tours have consistently sold out arenas, proving that their connection resonates just as deeply with audiences as it does between them. In recent years, the couple has continued to ride with the winds, making adjustments, perhaps even with the pandemic. Among the many things they did during lockdown were the series of Facebook Live concerts that they held at home, giving their fans an exclusive inside look at their lives and love lives. Their chemistry was raw, and it struck a chord with the new generation of country fans. Even before they dreamed up yet another musical surprise, however, Trisha was a frequent guest on Inside Studio G, Garth's weekly Facebook show. And just like that, the hints at future musical projects from the two began trickling in. Whether they are touring or recording together, or simply supporting one another's projects as individuals, the Brooks-Yearwood relationship is a shining example of a love that keeps on giving. Trisha and Garth share something more than just being together, as their emotional bonds and their mutual respect seem to echo those sentiments in the lasting bonds of George Strait and his wife, Norma. Fame does not define any of them. They put value to faith, humility, and a common direction up front whenever they have to answer how they make it as a couple. Trisha has pretty much always got that line going on about the good and challenging part of marrying a dynamic person like Garth, while he just says he finds her rock and the love of his life. Laughter, perseverance, and admiration are what made this relationship more than a romantic footnote in country music. It's a legacy in the making. Hidden struggles behind the spotlight. While Trisha Yearwood's career has been filled with chart-topping success and critical acclaim, her journey behind the scenes has been marked by quiet, personal struggles that she rarely publicizes. Much like George Strait, who turned inward after the tragic loss of his daughter, Trisha has chosen to keep much of her personal pain private, even as she continues to perform for millions. Over the years, she has faced emotional and physical challenges, including the heartbreaking loss of her parents, her mother in 2011 and her father in 2005, which left a profound void in her life. These losses influenced the themes of her music and her public demeanor, often giving her performances a deeper emotional resonance. Health has also been a sensitive topic for Trisha. Though she's been open about her fluctuating weight over the years, she's faced intense public scrutiny and pressure, which only added to the emotional toll of maintaining a high-profile career. At times, she stepped back from music to focus on her well-being, shifting gears into television and writing, including her successful cooking show, Trisha's Southern Kitchen. Like George Strait, who considered quitting music during his early struggles in Nashville, Trisha has admitted that there were times when she questioned her place in the ever-changing landscape of country music. But with determination and the support of those closest to her, she kept going. Vocally, the toll of numerous tours and performances has been an undoing that has taken her voice on a different journey at times during her concerts. Some fans speculate about the change in voice during her concerts, raising questions regarding possible vocal strain or permanent damage, not unusual among older pros. Yet, balancing her setlist and arrangements to her voice, Trisha really cares about connecting with her audience and giving them inspiring performances. She goes further to identify the emotional burden placed upon her when she is always in the spotlight, emphasizing the need to retreat to private time with Garth when the need arises. Throughout it all, Trisha's endurance has never faltered. Her poise under pressure has only lent weight to her credibility and legacy. Trisha similarly seeks refuge in home life and less public pursuits, just as George Strait quietly retreated to his ranch and family life to find peace. An emblem of strength for the fans, she also proves that even country royalty endures storms behind closed doors. But it is how she weathers those storms, with humility, faith, and grit, where her legacy truly lies. A heartbreaking health journey. Trisha Yearwood's path through fame has not been without physical and emotional tolls, especially when it comes to her health, a subject she has handled with grace, but often kept away from the spotlight. Over the years, fans have noticed shifts in her appearance, sparking conversations about her well-being. While Trisha has openly discussed her weight loss journey in the past, revealing she once lost 30 pounds through portion control and regular exercise, she also emphasized that her focus has always been on health over vanity. The pressures of public scrutiny, especially as a woman in the entertainment industry, added emotional stress that affected her behind the scenes. In 2021, Trisha contracted COVID-19, a battle she faced privately at first before eventually confirming the diagnosis publicly. Though her symptoms were reportedly mild, the experience left her with lingering fatigue and concerns about how the virus might affect her voice long-term. Garth Brooks, her husband, paused his tour temporarily to stay by her side, offering unwavering support. Trisha later shared that recovering physically was only one part of the challenge. The mental and emotional strain of being isolated and unsure of how the illness would impact her career was equally daunting. Trisha has continued to face vocal health obstacles after having survived COVID-19, something common to performers especially after decades of touring. There have been occasions during her recent shows that have led to speculation among fans of vocal strain or fatigue. While Trisha has never publicly spoken about any permanent damage to her voice, she has alluded to the fact that she must protect it more now than ever. Like George Strait, who went through emotional trauma in private, yet delivered terrific shows, Trisha puts her strength into her music, keeping the toughest chapters of her journey mostly to herself, while still committing to her fans. In spite of it all, Trisha is pressing on, a testament to her resilience. She has made mindful choices about her performance schedule, putting health and family above constant touring. Her story is a reminder that even the strongest of voices can find themselves in moments of vulnerability, and her subtle honesty about her challenges must resonate powerfully with her audience. Trisha's travel through health woes stands as a tribute to her enduring spirit, adding yet another layer of respect to a woman whose contributions to country music are ample. Stepping back from the stage. Over the years, Trisha Yearwood has made deliberate decisions to step back from the stage, sacrifices often unnoticed by the public, but deeply personal in nature. While her early success in the 90s solidified her place in country music royalty, she gradually began to reduce her touring schedule in the 2000s. This wasn't due to waning popularity, but rather a conscious choice to focus on her personal life and health. Similar to how George Strait quietly turned inward after his daughter's tragic death, Trisha's step back was less about fading away and more about preserving what mattered most: her well-being, her voice, and her family. A significant turning point came when she married Garth Brooks in 2005. At the time, Garth had already stepped away from the music scene to raise his 3 daughters, and Trisha chose to align her pace with his. Together, they built a life centered on family first, Trisha even pausing much of her musical output during the early years of their marriage. While Garth returned to the stage in 2014 for a massive comeback tour, Trisha joined him in a supporting role, often opening the shows but choosing not to take on solo tours of her own. Her decision mirrored the quiet strength and devotion seen in George Strait's wife, Norma, who supported her husband from the background. During this time, Trisha diverted her efforts into other expressions of creativity, including the Emmy-winning cooking show Trisha's Southern Kitchen, as well as a string of best-selling cookbooks. These allowed her to continue to interface with her fans while holding a more subtly van-sized pace of life. Yet, doing all this meant sacrificing a part of herself. Live performance was always the first love, and while there was never a complete leave of absence from music, this essentially became a silent trade-off for personal peace. She missed them, yet a lot of them understood and respected the choice, especially those who knew about behind-the-scenes pressures and health concerns that often come with a career going for 4 decades in music. Trisha now performs under a very selective list of special appearances and joined Garth on some major appearances. She still loves performing, but prefers to spend her time doing other big events. Like George Strait, in that he does not tour nowadays, but records music and shows at prominent events, Trisha is in balance, where she could give merit to her heritage and her life as well outside the spotlight. Her quiet retreat is not an escape from passion, but a declaration about self-respect, so that even icons must choose themselves sometimes over constant applause. Yet even as she stepped away from the stage, life off-stage delivered a pain that no spotlight could dim. Tragedy close to home. Behind Trisha Yearwood's powerful voice and radiant stage presence lies a history of personal loss that has deeply shaped her life and artistry. One of the most significant tragedies came with the passing of her father, Jack Yearwood, in 2005. He had been a pillar of strength and inspiration in her life, and his death marked the beginning of a difficult emotional chapter. Just a few years later, in 2011, she lost her mother, Gwen Yearwood, who had not only been her guiding light, but also her co-author on a series of beloved cookbooks. The two shared a famously close bond, and Gwen's death left a lasting void in Trisha's personal and professional life. The grief of losing both parents in such a short span of time weighed heavily on Trisha, who chose to retreat from full-time touring during these years to focus on healing and family. Much like George Strait, who grew more private after the tragic loss of his daughter Jennifer, Trisha avoided the spotlight, instead turning inward to process her pain. Though she continued to make music, including working on her cooking series and a few select performances, her emotional focus was centered on navigating life without her greatest supporters. The loss of her mother was especially hard, as they had been working on projects together, and Gwen had been a frequent guest on Trisha's cooking show. And this period was when Trisha's music became much more emotionally bottomed. Her performances became much more contemplative and often spoke with a quiet strength in her very few public appearances, almost as if she were trying to transform her loss into some constructive memory for her fans. The songs recorded and performed during the time often mention themes like love, memory, and endurance, singing right back into her experience with grief. Just as George Strait found refuge from his own tragedy in ranching life and songwriting with his son Bubba, Trisha was nourished by family, food, and creativity as she strove to deal with her losses. Trisha continues to honor her parents in subtle yet profound ways, whether through recipes shared on her show, posts on social media honoring them, or songs they taught her to cherish. She says that they made her the woman she is today, grounded, faithful, and driven. The emptiness of their absence remains painful to her. However, she continues to find ways to keep their legacy alive. The strength she exhibited in the face of such personal tragedies stands testament to her resilience and has only strengthened her relationship with her fans, who have admired her for not just her music, but for her grace and humanity. Whispers of retirement. In recent years, whispers about Trisha Yearwood possibly stepping away from music for good have become more frequent, prompting concern and curiosity among her loyal fan base. While she has never officially announced retirement, her noticeably limited touring schedule and selective public appearances had led many to wonder if she was gradually winding down her music career. Similar to George Strait, who stepped back from full-time touring after his Cowboy Rides Away tour, Trisha appeared to be taking a more measured approach to her public life, one that prioritized health, family, and creative fulfillment over the constant demands of the spotlight. However, Trisha silenced much of that speculation in February 2025 when she made a surprise appearance at Nashville's Bluebird Cafe, previewing a brand new album that marks a bold creative chapter in her career. For the first time ever, Yearwood co-wrote every track on the upcoming 10-song project and co-produced it alongside Chad Carlson. "This album has my heart in it," she said during the show, which also featured appearances by co-writers Erin Enderlin, Leslie Satcher, Sunny Sweeney, and Bridget Tatum. It was a powerful statement not only of her continued presence in country music, but of her evolution as a songwriter and storyteller. The yet untitled album will be promoted via a 7-city theater tour starting on April 30th in Austin, Texas, and wrapping up on May 17th in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. While performing for many of her fans' favorites as well as new songs, this tour will also provide an opportunity for her co-writers to shine, showing that Trisha cares about lifting her fellow artist-writers as much as she does about finding her own voice. She will also be performing on The Kelly Clarkson Show and is set to appear at Opry 100, a live celebration taking place on March 19th, another display of her active participation with the larger country community as well as the fans. What once looked like a gracious slowdown now seems nothing less than a creative revival. While her presence today may be less constant and more deliberate than it once was, Trisha Yearwood's return with original songs and a new tour declare that she is certainly not done. As she told her fans at the Bluebird Cafe, "I've always loved singing other people's stories, but now I'm finally ready to tell my own." With renewed energy as an artist and a personal approach to an evolving story, Trisha is demonstrating that her chapter in country music is not closing. It's changing, and it's changing on her terms. The music that still heals her. Despite the personal losses and health struggles she has faced, Trisha Yearwood continues to find comfort, expression, and healing through music. Like George Strait, who turned to songwriting and performing with his son Bubba, after enduring deep personal tragedy, Trisha has consistently returned to music as both a refuge and a way to process life's most difficult moments. Her 2019 album, Every Girl, was a prime example, deeply introspective, emotionally rich, and a reflection of a woman who has weathered life's storms. Now, in 2025, she's stepping into an even more vulnerable space by sharing music she co-wrote, marking a new creative era in her already celebrated career. At her recent February 12th performance at Nashville's intimate Bluebird Cafe, Trisha offered fans a first glimpse of her new, mostly self-written album. In a heartfelt Instagram post, she shared a black and white photo of herself, rehearsing, and reflected, "The at Bluebird Cafe is the place where the songwriter is protected, and it feels like the perfect place to be vulnerable. Thanks for letting me share my songs with you. XO, Trisha." The Bluebird, known for spotlighting the craft of songwriting, was a fitting venue for a project that represents not just her musical evolution, but emotional honesty. Her vulnerability resonated deeply. Fans flooded her post with praise, calling her performance authentic, beautiful, and all the feels. Trisha has been very open about her emotions, which not only became a social media affair, but also characterize the very songs she previewed. The album remains a work in progress, with reports of it almost 75% complete. But responses from audiences indicate it has already hit the rightful chords. "Might even play some new stuff," she shared during the Bluebird show. Judging by the reactions, she sure went above and beyond. "What an incredible night of music. So happy to hear the new music," enthused one fan. "You've been missed. Thank God to be in there tonight. Needed it," said another. These reactions indicate her music remains therapeutic, not just for her, but also for those listening. One thing that is quite clear is that music will always feed Trisha Yearwood's spirit. Sharing frankly personal words in a legendary Nashville venue or reconnecting with her fans through a spring 2025 seven-city tour, Trisha shows that the stage feels like home. This latest batch of work, her most personally written to date, cements her legacy as more than a singer. She is now a fully empowered storyteller. In her ability to balance vulnerability with artistry, she demonstrates how much music has become her solace, purpose, and healing. Strength through love. Throughout Trisha Yearwood's career and personal challenges, one constant source of strength has been her husband, Garth Brooks. Their relationship, built on decades of friendship, respect, and collaboration, has evolved into one of country music's most enduring and admired partnerships. From the spotlight to private struggles, Garth has been Trisha's unwavering pillar. This bond was on full display on January 9, 2025, when the couple made a rare joint appearance at President Jimmy Carter's funeral, just months after Brooks was accused of indecent assault in a lawsuit he denies. Despite the intense scrutiny, Trisha stood firmly beside him, a visual testament to the strength of their union. Their appearance at the National Cathedral was a powerful reminder of their shared values. Together, they performed John Lennon's Imagine, one of Carter's favorite songs, chosen for its message of hope and peace. It was a meaningful moment, not only because of the emotional gravity of the occasion, but also because both Trisha and Garth had worked closely with the former president through Habitat for Humanity over the years. Their continued presence at such events, especially amid controversy, highlights how they navigate hardships as a united front. For Trisha, love and loyalty remain steadfast, even in moments when stepping back might seem easier. This show of solidarity comes right after several other occasions when it has been made clear that Garth keeps Trisha well taken care of. Garth abruptly halted tour plans to go directly to her side with all his love when she contracted COVID in 2021. "She is the love of my life," he stated, making it clear that nothing mattered more than her well-being. Such actions were far from being romantic gestures. Rather, They were clear indicators of their core values: putting family first, leading with empathy, and confronting life's challenges as a team. It was a two-way street since Trisha had shown the same loyalty, coming both publicly and privately for him, including through today's legal allegations. Garth and Trisha's relationship is an epitome of endurance among all professional peak and personal whirlwind times. Whether performing together on stage, mourning with friends such as Dolly Parton, or commemorating a beloved president's legacy, they flow through the world in concert. Garth has made it possible for Trisha to walk on air as an artist and as a woman, and with Trisha's all-in presence, fans are reminded that true partnership is about being there, especially in the public eye. And just as Garth has stood strong beside Trisha, she now turns that same unwavering love and loyalty towards someone else in country music facing an unimaginable loss. Lifting a legend. In the wake of the heartbreaking loss of Carl Dean, Dolly Parton's husband of nearly 60 years, the country music community has come together to offer comfort to one of its most beloved icons. Among those who have stepped up with unwavering compassion are Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood, who have maintained a deep personal connection with Dolly over the years. According to an exclusive report from Closer Weekly, Trisha and Garth were among the first to respond when the devastating news broke on March 3, 2025. Without hesitation, they dropped everything to be by Dolly's side, offering their presence, prayers, and practical help in a time of immense grief. Trisha Yearwood has taken a more active role in supporting Dolly. And this is something that everyone is talking about because she is not simply known for her awesome voice, but also with her understanding and reasoning. According to a source close to the situation, the country singer has apparently been checking in multiple times a day and sending flowers, care packages, and heartfelt prayers on behalf of Dolly. This kind of thoughtfulness is more than just show, but is a reflection of a deep, private friendship built on mutual respect and shared values. Just as she has been supportive and close to husband Garth Brooks in the most taxing moments of his life, so too is Trisha's steadiness in this moment of great personal loss for Dolly. Dolly and Carl kept their love private for nearly 60 years, with Carl as her quiet anchor. His passing has expectedly left Dolly heartbroken. Close, immediate, and sure, Trisha and Garth's support becomes more than a friend. It is a lifeline to her high vulnerability, saturating her with love, support, and steadiness. No doubt, Trisha Yearwood being associated with this whole healing process for Dolly is an extremely strong testimony to her character and her standing in this really tight-knit country music community. Just like George Strait found healing in family during the tragedy, Trisha has found that by giving so much strength toward other people, doing very possible things offers therapy as well. Her quiet presence and real concern show that, under the glitzy glamour of country stardom, there remains a very deep love and support network that ties these artists together. She proved here angels could walk amongst us in getting through this big loss by showing how much one can give above and beyond what is learned through her influence. Thanks for watching. If this story moved you or made you think, let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more heartfelt stories from the world of country music, and tap the bell so you never miss an update. And hey, don't go just yet. Watch the next video on your screen for more behind-the-scenes stories from your favorite stars. See you there?